And just like that, welcome to a new video. Hope you guys are doing well. Today's going to be a Q&A. We're gonna hop right in it. You guys know the drill. Grab a coffee, sit back, relax, enjoy the video, and let's get it. So first question, will beating my meat help with arm wrestling? Next. The next question comes from Josh Rodriguez. When are we going to have a rematch? Now this is funny because about 2 years ago, or about a year and a half ago when I was living in Ontario at the time, I ended up doing a tournament and one of the guys I faced in the finals was Josh Rodriguez. Now, Josh is actually one of my good buddies that I've met through arm wrestling. However, at that time, him and we ended up having a match in the finals, and he did win. However, we did pull in the after pull, and I felt a little bit better. But in the tournament, he lit me up. Josh is an interesting guy because when I was competing in Ontario, he was kind of one of the newer faces as well that was up and comer. And I know now looking forward about a year and a half to 2 years later, the guy has gotten ridiculously strong, and he's actually coming to Nova Scotia in the near future. I think he's coming at the beginning of April, so I think we're gonna try and get a pull in, and of course I'm gonna film it for you guys. But I actually think, you know, I would love the chance to rematch Josh again. However, Josh is very, very strong, and I don't know if I'm at his level yet. But I've been seeing pictures, been seeing some videos of this guy lightening it up in Ontario. I don't know. I'll see you in April, Josh, and I guess we'll go from there. But yeah, it would be cool to have a proper rematch at some point, even though I think you might win, but I don't know. I think I'm a little bit stronger as well. Next question, are you single? Good question. I am a single Pringle, ready to mingle, dude. I know, but in all seriousness, I've been single for about, realistically, a year and a bit. So I'm not really on the market, but I'm out there, if you know what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm single. Next question comes from Shapes Alex. What's the top thing on the list to achieve in 2023 arm wrestling related? Very good question. Now, in a previous video, if you guys would have watched it, I won't spill the beans too much, but I did kind of mention that I was going to take a break from arm wrestling. I'm not taking a break from arm wrestling, meaning like I'm quitting, I'm stopping to train, I'm not competing anymore. It was more the fact that like with the filming, personal goals and things going on in my life, I think competing currently, like within the next couple months, it's not really on my list to do. However, goals for 2023, I can't spill the beans yet. I have a video coming out in the near future. You guys really don't want to miss this one. I would like to think, nothing is confirmed yet, but I would like to think that there are a couple, at least one massive tournament coming up at some point this year. I'm going to be training my ass off. Honestly, just to gain a lot of strength, gain a little bit of weight, to have just a good year of arm wrestling overall, and just to honestly just train. I would say that a couple big tournaments are coming without spilling the beans. A lot of details are coming in the near to mid future. You don't want to miss it. But I'm not looking so much to be winning this year. I'm looking so much to have more experience and to just get a lot stronger. Next question comes from Ian Nash 5991. Okay, that's my sister. Anyways, where would you like to travel that you haven't already? That's a good question as well, because it's very easy to be like, my number one spot I want to travel to is this, or if I had 3 choices I would travel here. Realistically, I just want to travel everywhere, but I'll give you 2 scenarios. If I'm looking to go, let's say, exploring, or to kind of just like actually travel backpack type thing, I think in between South America, we're gonna talk like Ecuador, Argentina, Peru, somewhere down south, more of like a backpacking trip, or somewhere in Europe. Let's talk like Switzerland, Germany, Scotland, Ireland. There's a bunch of places I would love to go. I wouldn't say there's an official number one. I've traveled in Europe to a fair decent amount, but I have not been down south, like Latin South America. So if there's one spot right now, Cape Town, Africa, I think is on my list. So yeah, let's go with Cape Town, Africa. I mean, Cape Town, Africa, man, is just another level, dude. Next question. What is your style clothing-wise? Does it change depending on the people you're around? I wouldn't say it's directly proportional to people that I hang out with. I think it just really depends on what I'm doing, because if I'm working out, I'm probably not going to wear the exact same clothes as if I'm going out and having drinks with my buddies in the city. Or me going out and having a campfire will definitely not be the same clothing I will wear if I'm at a fancy dinner. Or yeah, so I would say it correlates with what I'm doing. It's not so much exactly who I'm with, but I do like to change up the style depending on what I'm doing. So if I'm working out, I want to look good, I want to feel good, I want to feel confident. So yeah, I guess technically it correlates to who I'm with, but it's more in proportion to what am I really doing, because like I mentioned, I'm not going to wear the same clothes going for a hike than I will going out for a nice dinner. But yeah. Okay, so next question. How do you prep for your arm wrestling tournaments? Walk us through your routine. Now this is actually a very good question, because when I first started arm wrestling, I used to have this thing in my mind where it's like, okay, I gotta do like some type of training camp. I have to do some type of like crazy prep. I would literally write down a workout series in a book, and then I would try to follow it exactly to a T and try to just beat my numbers more and more. Let's say 9, 10, 11, 12 weeks out, which I honestly think it's a good way to go about it. But in the last 2 years, give or take, I kind of, like leading up to a tournament, I will obviously try and get stronger. I'll mix up my workouts between light weights, heavy weights, high reps, very low reps. And depending if I'm trying to work more on my wrist and tendon, I'm more likely to go a little bit higher rep as opposed to going a little bit heavier on a bicep curl. And of course, with arm wrestling specifics in general, I'm obviously working with a lot of tools, arm wrestling tools, very specific tools. So leading up to a tournament, I would say that I give about 10 to 15 weeks on average of just trying to mentally focus in on what the match is going to look like in my head. So when I'm training, I can actually get in these weird positions. Like if I'm at the gym and I'm doing a forearm curl from a cable machine, I'm going to position it as if I'm in the match, and I will think mentally of exactly how it's happening. And then as I get closer, let's say to a week, the last like 5 days, I'm literally doing nothing at that point. I'm literally just recovering and getting ready to pull. All right, so next question comes from Alex. Will you ever start live streaming your arm wrestling workouts? I'm not too sure. I mean, I can do that. If you guys want to see it, I can like literally drop a poll on the channel and you guys let me know if you want to see it. I can do it. It wasn't in my plans. Let me know. Shoot me a DM on Instagram. Let me know in the comments. I don't know. It's not really something I've considered, but the thing is, I feel like when you're live streaming a workout, it's just very long. Like realistically, when I'm filming a video, it's going to be a lot different than actually doing the workout, because when I'm filming, I'm setting something up, I'm getting ready, I do a couple sets and then I film. Whereas a workout, workout could be an hour and a half. So realistically, who wants to watch me do forearm curls for 10 minutes and then, do bicep curls for 10 minutes and then work on my fingers? And yeah, I realistically probably not. But if you guys want to see it, comment down below or DM me. I don't know. I'm not too sure about that. Next question. What are your goals for 2023 in arm wrestling and in my personal life? This comes from Jackson. I kind of mentioned this a little bit before with one of the other questions, but in terms of arm wrestling, I won't spill the beans yet because that's coming in a future video. But this year, in terms of arm wrestling, to at least compete in a tournament or two, to get a lot stronger. I know last year was a lot more busier for arm wrestling in terms of a tournament standpoint, but this year will be more focused on getting stronger, becoming mentally more clear, So I would say tournaments are coming, not as many, but I would like to think that they're pretty big tournaments. And stay tuned because I might be coming near you. And in terms of my personal life, the biggest focus, and I've went over this many times, and you guys know this, but my biggest goal for this year outside of arm wrestling is to get my private pilot's license. I am aiming for July 1st because once I actually have this license, it'll allow me to have a lot of life experience in terms of travel, and I want to be able to travel with my friends and my family and to local arm wrestling tournaments near you. I think just the idea of getting in a plane by yourself or going with friends or family and just literally taking off to another province, to a state, to a different country is just something that I can't fathom at this point. I'm coming close. I'm about 25 hours left in the license itself, but I'm ready to smash this out and to start traveling. So in terms of arm wrestling, to possibly do 1 or 2 big tournaments to get stronger. And outside of that, the biggest goal is to finalize and actually get my private pilot's license because I honestly just want to travel, and I really love aviation. Next question comes from Brent. How does electricity work on the ships in the one of the CAF? Okay. Oh my god, I can't believe this question is here. So I gotta give you guys a quick backstory. So I used to be in the Navy in the CAF, and I remember sailing one day, and one of my superiors, which is one of my really good buddies, he ends up, I don't even know how we get on this subject, but I was being a little bit of an idiot, so to say, like I always am. And somehow we got along the topic of like, how does electricity work on ships? And I remember telling him something like, how do we get our electricity? I was like, well, we plug the ship in, and then the ship goes around, and then comes back, and then the ship gets unplugged. I know that sounds absolutely ridiculous, and it is, but I thought it was funny because, oh my god, it was just hilarious. Yeah, I don't even know what to say to that, because I remember just telling him, like, how do you think we get electricity on the ship? Like, we need to be connected, so like the ship just goes out, and then when we get back, we just unplug the ship. And anyway, it was a laughing gag for the longest time. Very stupid story, and lives to this day, but yeah, good memories. Okay, next question. How many years of arm wrestling by a strongman? So I'm assuming this is how many years I've been arm wrestling. So I moved to Nova Scotia in 2016, and I believe it was at the end of 2016 where I discovered arm wrestling through a Facebook post at the time when I had Facebook. I remember seeing something to do with an arm wrestling club here that was local to Halifax. The club is the Sackville Warriors. I believe that's what they're called. Sackville Warriors? Yeah. Anyways, a local club here in Halifax. And so I remember showing up for a practice, and I was just like mesmerized. I was fascinated that a bunch of men are actually hanging out on their off time, arm wrestling with a table next to a gym. And me growing up, I've always been fascinated with arm wrestling, considering my father was very good. I mean, no one could beat him. And so even though I wasn't good as a kid, I was always a fan of arm wrestling. So anyways, as I got older, I started to become better at it. And when I realized there was a club, especially with where I was living, I got into it there. I then did my first tournament about 3 months after getting into arm wrestling. Hurt myself. I remember that. My first match was up against a national champion here in Nova Scotia. And I then pretty much took a year off. So technically I've been arm wrestling since the end of 2016, but competing like actually I believe 2019? I don't know, it's been about 5 years, give or take, I've been arm wrestling pretty seriously in the last 3 years. Next one, Vamos Mae. Let's go, dude. All right, next question comes from Maria. What was your favorite video to record? Wow. Considering my channel is mostly oriented around arm wrestling, I do enjoy filming. That's such a good question. I guess it would kind of lean into a couple videos. I think number one would be me arm wrestling versus Devin Larrett. This is when I was living in Ontario at that time. And it wasn't like the video was really well made or anything, but it was more the fact that when I first saw Devin, I honestly was intimidated because he's just this icon that I'm seeing on the internet. And when I first saw him, I was like, I have to arm wrestle this guy and I have to get this on video because it's a dream come true. And I remember at the time I had a GoPro, and I don't know. I really think the Devin Larratt video, I'm going to put a card up here somewhere on the screen so you guys can check the video out. It was honestly just amazing. Now, a lot of my buddies arm wrestle with him on the regular, like it's a normal thing. And the guy is just a normal guy, but he's the most famous arm wrestler to ever walk the planet, hands down, in my opinion. So yeah, to get the chance to arm wrestle with Devin and to film it was something pretty phenomenal. And like I said, I was filming with a GoPro. It was very basic. It wasn't like I had this crazy setup. We had drone footage. We had all this thing. It was just arm wrestling with Devin. But the second best video I would like to think was Washington State Championships of 2022, because it was just very professional in how this tournament went down. The footage turned out phenomenal. The trip down to the US with Tom, his woman, and a friend, the trip was phenomenal. I don't know how well I filmed it in comparison to other videos, but I think I did a pretty good job on that. So the tournament turned out amazing, competed the most I ever have in my life. And so yeah, first video would have been Devin Larratt in 2021, and then the second video would have been very recently at the end of 2022 at Washington State Championships. Next question comes from Jacob. When are we going to arm wrestle Buddy? Every time, so Jacob, for those who don't know, he's one of the arm wrestlers that's out of the Victoria Arm Wrestling Club. But yeah, one of the guys that arm wrestles in our group. Every time I arm wrestle you, you're always injured or there's always an excuse for something. So we have to set up a super match in May because you were talking a lot of shit to people. I don't know how true this is, but you're pretty much telling well, this is all I've heard, that you've been beating me this whole time, and I only have footage of me murdering you. So yeah, if you want to arm wrestle, let's do it this May. Let's film it. You better be training because what you're saying is very, very false. I literally have footage of me beating you on my left hand in a practice, super chill, kind of like Ready Goes. I'll throw a freaking card up here if you guys want to see this, but I have myself beating you with my left hand, which my left hand and my right hand are complete polar opposites, and you're literally telling everybody that you're beating me. Like everybody that has seen me and you pull is saying the exact opposite. So let's go, dude. Let's do it. May 2023. Let's do it. All right. What do you do for work? 1.6M official. I am a helicopter mechanic. And yeah. Next question comes from Josh. Okay, Josh again. What's better, hook or top roll? And why is top roll the answer? It's a lot of people on the internet, man. They're saying like hook is the way to go if you want to be a man. I don't know, man. If you have a weak hand, how are you a man? Honestly, no offense, but people will say like top roll, you're trying to run a little bit, but if your hand is breaking every time I touch your hand, how are you a man, dude? I think top roll is more fascinating because anyone can have strong biceps, but I wouldn't say anyone can have a very strong hand. I think that takes years and years of training in a specific way, because there's just something that's pretty cool when you arm wrestle someone or you feel someone's grip and you're like, dang, dude, like that is a strong hand. But then like anybody can train a couple years to get massive biceps. So yeah, in arm wrestling, I way prefer to top roll. I mean, you guys obviously see this, but yeah, if you're breaking people's wrists in arm wrestling, dude, like next level shit right there. Next question by Seb Russo. When have you started arm wrestling training? I mentioned this already. It's been a couple of years. And last question, where did you get the sick tattoos from? Fitness with Santis? Santis G's? Santis G's? Anyways, where did you get the sick tattoos? Thanks, dude. I've had these tattoos for several years. I've gotten a couple in Quebec, which is exactly where I'm from. And I've gotten several, well, I guess the other half here in Halifax, Nova Scotia. Yeah, I guess I'll quickly go over them. I have one here, a couple trees, a couple wolves. I have one that's a little bit of a raven. I have one that's, I don't know if you guys can tell. It's like a bull. I have some mountains. I have one that's really bad. I'm actually embarrassed to show you this. Then I have one that's like, I don't know if you can tell. Oh, it looks bad. But anyways, from this angle, yeah, it's a hockey tattoo. Little cheesy. And I got a trout right here, which is, I think, my favorite one. But yeah, just like that, this video is going to an end. I hope you guys enjoyed this type of content. If you did, like the video, drop a comment, subscribe, turn on that notification bell. I will catch you guys in the next one. Until then, peace.